All right, ladies and gentlemen. So today we're in the Robert Greene Book Club. We're going to be reviewing Robert Greene's book, The Laws of Human Nature. And this chapter is on the chapter on how to master your emotional self. In other words, how to control your emotions. This is his first chapter in his book, The Laws of Human Nature. And the reason why the reason why Robert made this chapter the first chapter is because he says that humans naturally are irrational. And that is the foundation of all of our mistakes and all of our blindness and lack of understanding of our nature. And he made that the first chapter because that's the first thing people have to understand. If you read this chapter and you don't believe that you are irrational, Robert Greene says that you have succumbed to the irrational. You believe that you are not irrational. In other words, you are irrational. So we're going to be listening to this book, seeing what he says, and stopping it from time to time to give my feedback based on it. Right now, if you guys ever want to check this out, click on the description down below and join the Robert Greene Book Club. We have other books from Robert Greene's, like the 33 Strategies of War, Art of Seduction, 48 Laws of Power. We are reviewing most of his books. So if you guys want to join us, you guys can get the audio version of this too. You could just join the book club, click on the description down below. It's only $5 a month. It's a cup of coffee. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be posting 3, 4, 5 per month, 30 minutes long each. And yeah, I hope to see you guys inside, or I'm closing the channel. All right, so let's begin.
Chapter 1. Master Your Emotional Self. The Law of Irrationality. You like to imagine yourself in control of your fate, consciously planning the course of your life as best you can, but you are largely unaware of how deeply your emotions dominate you. They make you veer toward ideas that soothe your ego. They make you
so unconscious. Seriously, it is so unconscious.
Look for evidence that confirms what you already want to believe. They make you see what you want to see, depending on your mood. And this disconnect from reality is the source of the bad decisions and negative patterns that haunt your life.
Depending on your mood. That's the part that's so insidious. It depends on your mood. I notice that whenever I'm in a shitty mood, whenever I feel insecure and I look at people's faces, I notice my brain registering hostility when there's no hostility. That's how my brain works. I'm a people pleaser by nature. So when I'm in a insecure state, when I feel like I'm not enough, when I feel like I'm a loser, when I feel like I'm not cool and stuff like that, all of a sudden when I see faces and they don't give me a smile, my brain will naturally assume that I did something wrong, or that they don't like me, right? Or that they're better than me. But now I know that. So whenever I observe my mind doing that, I've created through meditation practice enough space to be able to observe that reaction almost as though I'm observing the branch of a tree and not take it personal. So I observe, I'm like, oh, my mind is in the reactive state. That's interesting, right? So that allows me to not let myself get seduced, because it's confirmation bias. I feel shitty. And so now this person is giving me a certain look. Now you're confirming how I feel. And that's the problem. So if you're not aware of that pattern could keep perpetuating in your life, seem like it's a reality, when in reality, you're creating the hostility in your life. So you gotta, for me, it's that. But maybe for some other people, it's completely different, right? So then I'll notice when I'm in a happy state, all of a sudden, people who are not smiling at me, I don't register it as though they don't like me. I just register it as though they're just thinking of something else. But it's all because of my mental state. The key is to be aware of that and to not fall for the illusion. It's like when you're falling asleep and you're paralyzed and you see your demon looking at you, right? Motherfucker, that's not a demon. That's just your brain. But if you believe it's a demon, you're gonna panic. But if you just relax and say, Delexis, this is just a phantom of my mind, relax, and it goes away, right? You treat it conceptually because you know it's an illusion. You got to understand the illusions of the mind, bro. It is really strong. It is really strong. And this chapter, we're going to talk about, along with Robert Greene, how to pierce through that. And honestly, one of the best ways to pierce through that is through developing a meditation practice, people. Check out The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, right? Developing a meditation practice will pierce through the fog of emotion.
Rationality is the ability to counteract these emotional effects, to think instead of react, to open your mind to what is really happening as opposed to what you are feeling. It does not come naturally. It is a power we must cultivate. But in doing so, we realize our greatest potential.
That to me is the most important thing. The brain presents to you a platitude of illusions that are based on emotions. You gotta understand the brain, the eyes also have neurons to tell the brain what to see. If you are in a negative state of mind, your brain will create illusions to feed it. Like the brain will want more of what it's feeling. It's how it works. It runs on momentum. And stopping that momentum takes a lot of effort. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, let's keep listening to this, man.
The Inner Athena. One day, toward the end of the year 432 BC, the citizens of Athens received some very disturbing news. Representatives from the city-state of Sparta had arrived in town and presented to the Athenian governing council new terms of peace. If Athens did not agree to these terms, then Sparta would declare war. Sparta was Athens's arch enemy, and in many ways its polar opposite.
I'm
Step 1. Recognize the biases. Emotions are continually affecting our thought processes and decisions below the level of our awareness. And the most common emotion of them all is the desire for pleasure and the avoidance of pain. Our thoughts almost inevitably revolve around this desire. We simply recoil from entertaining ideas that are unpleasant or painful to us. We imagine we are looking for the truth.
Yo, it's insane how true this is, people. Like today, I finally I had to clamp down to work. I had to check the people who needed refunds. Had to call tax guys. Had to do a bunch of shit that I've been just putting away. Ladies and gentlemen, there's just so much. It's almost like whenever I think of those things, it's almost like you're encountering traffic. And you don't want to go through that traffic. But unfortunately, if you want to make this destination, you got to get through this traffic. And this traffic are the things that are painful that we want to avoid. And we are so programmed to avoid thoughts that bring pain, to avoid thoughts that destroy the continuity that we've created in our world, our perception of ourselves and others. We see people and we create an image of them, and no matter what they do, we don't want to break that image. All of those things of trying to keep things consistent, even looking young, or even the way the world is moving, the way the world is changing, causes so much resistance within us that it narrows our mind, it narrows our vision. But the problem is that we don't notice how our vision is being narrowed by this insidious, like, narrowing nature of our emotions. It's just so sneaky, people. You guys don't understand this. It is so sneaky. If you practice meditation, you will see this phenomenon even at a deep level. It's literally a phantom that looks real and that has solidity, but in reality is full of vapor and air. It's nothing. It's the phantom of your emotions. It's fucking insane.
Or being realistic, when in fact we are holding on to ideas that bring a release from tension and soothe our egos, make us feel superior. This pleasure principle in thinking is the source of all of our mental biases. If you believe that you are somehow immune to any of the following biases, it is simply an example of the pleasure principle in action.
Yeah, you're not immune to it. If you are a human animal, if you're any type of organism, you're not immune to this.
Instead, it is best to search and see how they continually operate inside you, as well as learn how to identify such irrationality in others. Confirmation bias. I look at the evidence and arrive at my decisions through more or less rational processes.
Oh Lord, this is so like, this is literally like politics 101. For example, right? I'm gonna give you guys a sneak peek into my beliefs. I was watching a video about whether or not children can consent to tattoos, right? They were asking a bunch of people, should children consent to tattoos? They were like, what? Of course not. What? What's how could they do such a permanent decision on their bodies, right? They ask, are you sure? And they're like, yeah, man, children are not smart enough for that. They don't have the brain for that. And then they asked them, should children consent to steroids, like to become like Arnold Schwarzenegger? They're like, what, steroids? Get out of here! No, that's horrible for kids. The steroids that Barry Bonds used. No way, that's horrible. That will kill them. And I'm like, that makes total sense. Should children consent to using drugs, to taking LSD, to taking weed, crack? Should we let children do that? Oh, of course not. The children should not consent to that. We all agree, even to sex. We all know children have no ability to consent to that. But this was where then they threw a curveball. They've agreed that children should not consent to tattoos, to steroids, to a multitude of other things, right? Which makes a lot of sense, right? Then they asked them if children should consent to puberty, the things that block your puberty and stuff like that. This is the debate. You know what I'm talking about, right? Oh my God, their faces. They're like, no, well, that's a little different. That's a little different. I think a child knows what it wants. If a child believes he's a little girl and he's 12 and he wants to not have puberty, then I think a child should consent to that. The fuck is that? What kind of spinneroonie is that? That makes no sense. So everything is not good, but for some reason, the political topic, all of a sudden, all of the logic that you use, that you had in your brain, all of that logic for the tattoos, for the steroids, even for sex, all that kind of stuff, all that logic out the window when it comes to their my neighbors, Mexican neighbors, when it comes to their political point of view. We all do this, people. This is just politics will bring out people's worst sides, right? This is why you should stay away from it. Me, people might say, what am I? Me, I'm more left leaning, to be honest with you. But there are some beliefs of the left that I just don't believe in. And because of that, some of them might see me as right leaning. But in reality, I am the most liberal person you will ever meet in your life. Trust me. My lifestyle is so liberal. It's unbelievable, right? But I have my limitations, right? I personally, I don't subscribe to politics because, in fact, I'm so into not politics that my phone, I've removed any political news from my phone. Because that's just, and then people about the wars, don't ask me about that kind of stuff, people. I don't educate myself enough to know about that because I just have too many things going on. All right, so let's keep going. But I do support human rights. That's one thing I do support.
To hold an idea and convince ourselves we arrived at it rationally, we go in search of evidence to support our view. What
Bill Burr said, I'mRight.com, right? People go to I'mRight.com.
Could be more objective or scientific. But because of the pleasure principle and its unconscious influence, we manage to find the evidence that confirms what we want to believe. This is known as confirmation bias. We can see this at work in people's plans, particularly those with high stakes. A plan is designed to lead to a positive, desired objective. If people considered the possible negative and positive consequences equally, they might find it hard to take any action. Inevitably, they veer toward information that confirms the desired positive result, the rosy scenario.
It's like people who do steroids, yo. Like, I remember when I was younger, there was this thing called SARMs, right? And it's not a steroid, but it has it has like how can I say this? It's not steroids, but don't take it. And I took it because it wasn't steroids. I didn't get big because I didn't work out. I was so fucking stupid, right? I was like 10 years ago, I believe so, right? 10 years ago. And it was before even starting YouTube. But I remember the reason why I did it is because the person who said it said that it doesn't have any I remember what was the thing that he said? He said that it helped them lose weight and that it's not a steroid. And as soon as I heard it, that's all I needed to know. Because I wanted to hear him. I wanted to hear evidence. Like, I just wanted to hear one word, one evidence that just made me want to take it. I was looking for confirmation bias, right? And we all do that. And the beautiful thing about the brain is that it doesn't feel like you're being influenced. It feels like you have complete control of your decision making. It's an incredible thing, and we're all under that influence at this moment right now,
without realizing it. We also see this at work when people are supposedly asking for advice. This is the bane of most consultants. In the end, people want to hear their own ideas and preferences confirmed by an expert opinion.
And this is why a lot of people get mad at me when I give them coaching calls, right? Not mad at me, but like, because I don't tell them what they want to hear. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna lie to you. Go to another coach if you want to hear what you want to hear, right? But a lot of these coaches out here, man, a lot of these life coaches just want to tell you what you want to hear. That it's not hard to achieve success. That all you got to do is just visualize success and it comes to you. And so you have all of these people gravitating towards these law of attraction coaches. And there's nothing wrong with law of attraction coaches. I just have a problem with the Streak SRI guy. I just have a problem with people that say write someone's name, burn it, do a spinner Rooney, and then hug your grandma, and all of a sudden the guy that you want is gonna come walking through the goddamn door. I'm sorry, not goddamn. My apologies, people. I don't want to offend religious people, but I'm just saying, like, so much BS. That's not how things work, people. It takes effort. You could visualize yourself succeeding, but rather than visualizing the outcome, visualize yourself doing the process. So if you know that you got to study 5 hours a day to get an A in your exam, don't visualize yourself getting an A. Visualize yourself studying 5 hours a day. That is real law of attraction. Visualize the process to your goal rather than the outcome. The problem is that people don't want to visualize the process because it's hard. And so a lot of charlatans know that. And so what do? They'll feed you BS. They'll tell you things that they know it's not true, all because it gives you that confirmation bias. Become aware of that. Don't let people scam you. Don't even let me scam you, people. All right? Like, honestly, I try not to scam people. I don't scam people. But what I'm trying to say, be careful with confirmation bias. Be careful when you reach out to someone who promises you the world. Be careful with that. Be careful with people who sell you quick gains. All right, guys. So if you guys enjoy this is only a small portion of this chapter. If you guys want to watch the full clip and with the audio portion of it, so that you guys can download it on your phone and listen to it without having to watch a video, Become a Patreon supporter by clicking on the description down below and clicking where it says become a Patreon supporter. And there you can become a $5 member where I'll post 2 or 3 videos a week. And I also post book club videos. All right. And these book club videos are around 30-minute long. And I go in depth, just like you saw today. And it's a way for you guys to apply Robert Greene's books into your lives. All right. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time and be safe.